My engagement ring is a £50 Pandora ring, and I'm not even upset about it. My husband and I got married just 2 months ago in New Zealand, and we had a spontaneous wedding elopement. To give you a little bit of backstory, we've been cycling around the world for a couple of years now, and most recently we flew to Vietnam in March, and we cycled to Singapore, flew to Australia, cycled across Australia, which was crazy, and then flew to New Zealand. As soon as we landed in New Zealand, for some reason, I googled get married in New Zealand and found that it's actually pretty cost effective. I mooted to my boyfriend at the time, who wasn't even my fiance, that maybe we should think about getting married in New Zealand. To my surprise, he was interested. So I sent an email to some celebrants to find out if this was really possible, if it was as cheap as I thought it was going to be, and basically how quickly could we do it. We met this lovely celebrant called Sean Joyce. He was Irish, he was funny, and he just knew how to make you feel at ease around him, and we just loved him instantly. On the call, he told us we could get married basically as soon as we like, so we set a wedding date 3 weeks away. Now remember, we were travelling by bicycle, so we had to ride from Queenstown to Christchurch. We shut the laptop, ended the Zoom call, and we went straight out into Queenstown, and we bought wedding bands from a local small New Zealand jeweller, and the wedding rings are made of New Zealand gold, which is really nice. We went to a dress and suit hire place, hired that wedding dress. We had to hire shoes and everything because all we have are scruffy cycling gear. We organised for the shop to post that to Christchurch, and then we got on our bikes and we made tracks to Christchurch. And in between booking all that and getting there, I booked things like a hairdresser so my hair could be styled. I didn't even carry straighteners with me, so I couldn't even do it myself. And also flowers and a photographer who our celebrant knew. Now, when you get married, you do need 2 witnesses, and my celebrant said, I'll sort the witnesses for you if you will just offer them 2 nice bottles of wine. I was like, that's a deal. So our witnesses ended up being his lovely wife, and the photographer, who was his friend, also did the second witness signature. En route to Christchurch, something happened, and there was a landslide at Hast Pass, which meant that we couldn't move from Wanaka through Hast to get to Christchurch. So we had to call everyone up who we'd booked the wedding attire, the celebrants, the hair, and ask to move it by a week so that we could just wait for this landslide to be sorted while we were in Wanaka. Luckily, everyone was able to sort that out. Now, we didn't know anything about New Zealand. We didn't know where to get married. We didn't know the area. So we just completely relied on our celebrant, who recommended Sign of the Bellbird at Port Hill, and it was beautiful. It turned out that our celebrant actually lives really near there, and he offered us to stay with him because he also has an Airbnb. So we cycled to his house, we stayed in his house, we had dinner with his family, we got to know them so well, and let me tell you, you can't do all of that and not bond. They feel really special to us now. We got ready in their house, we all left together, me, the celebrant, Stuart, my husband, the celebrant's wife, who was a witness, and we made our way to Port Hill, and we were married on the hill. I was concerned that a small wedding like this would feel quite soulless, but it didn't feel soulless. It felt really intimate and really, really special. There's a lot of things I wanted to avoid about a traditional wedding, the thought of doing a first dance was just the thought of it is too much for me. My husband's not really into speeches and that kind of thing. It's just not his love language. So that was awkward for him. The thought of spending all the money to feed everyone, I didn't want it. This just felt like the best option. But it was at first, it was a practical option to avoid all that wedding-y stuff. But it ended up being perfect, really intimate. We actually didn't even want to do anything but traditional vows, but our celebrant, Sean, was you're not doing that. You're going to write about what you value in each other, and you're going to do that on the hill. So I was okay, we'll do that. We started to talk, they were kind of vows, I guess, but they were more values and I guess a thanks to the person that you're in love with for who they are. I could barely get through mine. I was in tears. The celebrant, I didn't think I'd cry, honestly, but the celebrant was there with a handkerchief and sorted me out. So yeah, that is the story. Oh, and how I ended up with a Pandora ring. So as I said, we sorted all of this out before we were even engaged because I just Googled it. Well, Stuart wanted me to have an official proposal. So he popped out in Queenstown, went to Pandora, and just got me this placeholder engagement ring, which I am now just in love with, to be honest. I don't even care that it's not real, not a real diamond or anything. It's just it means so much to me. It's really part of the like the journey of our engagement and our wedding, and I didn't even know if I'll swap it. I actually do have an engagement ring at home because his granddad gifted us with his grandmother's ring, but this one has our story attached to it, so I don't know what I do. I think maybe I'll wear both and put one of them on my other hand. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, that is a story of how I ended up with a cheap engagement ring, which I love, and the entire wedding elopement.